In today's video, I brought over a real expert on building call centers. So if you are in solar and you're looking to build a call center, he shares a ton of value throughout the video. So make sure you watch it to the very end. Don't skip any parts out. Make sure you turn all your distractions off and pay 100% attention to the video. He's built over 100 different call centers in many different industries, but today we focus on solar. So if you want to build a call center and if you want to be able to generate leads on demand through the use of a call center, then my guest today shares everything that you need to know in order to build a successful call center in solar. So without further ado, let's get right into the video.
All right, ladies and gents, we got the one and only Jason Shouldice. Thank you, bro, for being here. I know a lot of people that are going to be super amazed that you and I are having this call today. The reason for it is because you have built a lot of call centers, and not the bullshit ones either. Like, you've built a lot of good call centers, and you've helped a lot of people explode their business with effective call centers. All right. So what we're going to do, and I personally work with you on that, and so I know how powerful, these tools are, but if they're in the hands of someone immature, then obviously they're not going to be used as well. And so the reason why I wanted to have you on is because, you understand the call center industry better than, no other. And so, look, I'm going to leave it down to you, bro. I know you've been in the real estate industry. Now you're heavily involved in solar. Obviously, I am in solar. And today, ladies and gents, we're going to show you how to build a call center, which is the dream of everyone in sales.
What's going on, everyone? Yvonne, thank you so much for that warm welcome. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. We're going to try to make it as juicy as possible for you. We're going to give you a lot of value, not that cheesy, fake wannabe value. We're going to give you tons of golden nuggets, so get out your notepads and let's take some notes. Welcome, everyone. I appreciate everyone watching. My name's Jason Shouldice. I own the Call Center Doctors, ccdocs.com, and I also own a solar sales organization, the Clean Energy Association. So I've been in the solar space for about 3 years now. I was actually Yvonne, who was one of the first people I found in the solar space. So I think a lot of people, when they entered the solar space, they were using Google. And what do you know? Yvonne comes up number one as the number one bro in solar, number one dude in solar. And I said, hey, I got to attach myself to this guy. And the rest is history. So Yvonne has been a friend and mentor and guide to me for the last few years. And it's such an honor to be on with him and presenting to you guys today. So a little bit about me. I used to own a real estate lead generation company called Leads Engine. We did an exit about 3 years ago, and then we started building call centers as a service. We built a call center at my old company, and we had 30 ISAs, and we were generating 500 paid leads a day. So we built a call center out of a necessity. We all know that people do not call their leads, especially when you have a lot of leads. The less leads you have, the more you call them. The more leads you have, the less you call them, because you don't see the value in them. Yvonne, I'm sure you can attest to that.
No, bro, I know what you're talking about 100%.
So the challenge that we faced, we were billing people anywhere from $1,000 to several $1,000s a month. And if they weren't performing, then they wouldn't pay us. So we had to grab them by the short and curlies and say, you guys got to perform. Now, it's not enough to tell somebody, hey, you got to perform. You got to create systems. So what we built was a massive, massive system at Leads Engine. And that allowed us to excel in the real estate space and then in turn excel in the solar space. We don't only build solar call centers. We've built around 120, 125 call centers, about 60 of them in solar, the rest in mortgage, retail buyers, sellers, real estate investors, timeshare exits, commercial cleaning, you name it. We built them for a lot of marketing agencies who have different niches. So we've tried our hand in everything. Solar's been our strongest vertical. Not only do we build solar call centers, but like I mentioned earlier, we have our own solar sales organization. So pivoting back, the challenge with the leads is you need to be able to convert them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
we built a system to not only generate paid leads, but send them directly to a call center and use talented nearshore reps and offshore, nearshore considered like Mexico, Central America, right? Maybe even South America, then offshore, hey, Philippines, Egypt, some of these other countries, Pakistan, Bangladesh is
Mm-hmm.
actually a really good one, guys. Egypt and Bangladesh, if you're going offshore. Philippines is actually quite good as well. For me personally, I feel like the Filipino accent, a lot of people are used to talking to them for customer service. So if you're doing sales, you have a bit more of an advantage, with Egypt, Bangladesh, but I prefer Mexico, and I'll get into that a little bit later. So
Yep.
at our highest point in Leads Engine, we had 150 realtors and mortgage officers and real estate investors. So it was almost as if we had this giant sales team that we had to command. So it's different than having your own sales team, because these people are all paying you versus you paying your own sales team. So it's even harder to manage somebody that's paying you, right? If you're paying your own sales team and they don't perform, what do? Fire them. If somebody's
Mm-hmm.
paying you and is selling and they don't perform, you can't exactly say, hey, call your leads, otherwise I'm firing you. I still want your money every month, right? So I have to work extra hard to coerce you and help you to succeed. So
Right.
that laid the foundation for what we've done, what we do today.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's awesome. That's awesome, bro. So would you say, I mean, a lot of my audience obviously is in solar. Some people, most of my audience is people that are exiting from other businesses, and people who are, switching from their 9 to 5 or other sales jobs in other industries to solar because of how lucrative the solar industry is right now. So what would you like? I want you to take somebody through what it's like to build a call center, and all, like, everything they should pay attention to, and what are the important aspects of building the call center the right way. Because I mean, everyone can say I've built a call center, but how effective was your call center? That's what it comes down to. So why don't you just take us through, like, what it's like to build a call center? What's involved in it? What do you have to pay attention to? If you want to do that.
absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, the thing is, guys, the way to mastery is repetition, right? Anyone who's a leader in sales or is good at sales that is watching this, we know that it takes 5 to 10 years. It's not done overnight. Those of you watching this who've built door knocking teams, as Yvonne said, those of you that are looking to come into solar or recently have migrated into solar, you're probably coming from another sales position. So, building a call center is like doing anything great in this world. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of money, and it takes a lot of trial and error, right?
Mm, mm.
Was it Edison who said, I haven't found I didn't do it, didn't do it right the first time. I just found a million ways to do it. I forget
Yes.
that quote. But it's the same thing in life with anything, guys. To reach the upper echelons of success and wealth, it just takes a tremendous amount of failure. So for those of you watching, we have went through that failure. We've spent millions of dollars, not only our own money, but our clients' money as well. And we've really went through the trial and error. So to answer your question, building a call center, there needs to be several main components. So basically the backbone of a call center is the dialer, right? There's many different dialers on the market. You have ZenCall, Vici Dial, Convoso, Ready Mode, actually, excuse me, ZenCall is now renamed Ready Mode, Phone Burner, and so on and so on and so on.
Yep.
We use a platform called Vici Dial. We've tried them all. Because we build call centers, we've actually migrated people from pretty much any platform you can imagine. The reason that we like the Vici Dial platform is it's completely open source. So basically it allows you to modify it how you want it. There's over 3,000 customizable options inside it. And we have a team of 8 full-time developers who've hacked it and made it just run faster, make the leads load faster. And not only that, being able to integrate with other software stacks, which is a really, really big big important part of running a call center, having a talk to CRMs, Google Data Studio, whatever you're using, project management software, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So choosing the right dialer, you want to get it right the first time. So we use ZenCall for many years, great platform. We've consulted for them. I've consulted for the owner personally. Fantastic platform. I love it. The reason why I like Vici Dial is I have a tremendous amount of control with it. So everything's open source. Basically, the phone numbers with a lot of these other dialers, you're paying anywhere from $1 to $3 each. Because we build call centers in bulk and we have several thousand agents dialing, we've negotiated, less than wholesale prices. We're talking 45 cents per phone number, right? And you need inbound and outbound minutes as well. So we really like the Vici Dial platform for its customization and its integration and actually having full control of it.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, having the proper dialer, and I won't get too deep. This is more a high level overview, guys. If you have any questions, we're going to put a link beneath this video. So everyone make sure to click it. If you have any questions, you'll be able to reach out to myself and my team and Yvonne after this video. So this is meant to be a really high level overview, guys, but you want to get the dialer right the first time. Now, if you don't use our company to build a call center, I wouldn't recommend using Vici Dial. Vici Dial is a very specialized tool. ZenCall Ready Mode, great dialer. Phone burner, great. But if you really want the Bugatti, you're going to use Vici Dial. The challenge is tuning it properly, right? It's almost like getting, an empty car carcass or shell without the engine, without the transmission. You really have to put it in and tune it yourself, and then you're left with a masterpiece. So for those of you that are just starting your own call center, I wouldn't recommend that unless we set it up. There are people out there who will offer to set up Vici Dial for you. Believe me, we went through 50 developers before we found our core 8. I wouldn't touch them. So keep that in mind, guys. Choosing the dialer is very important. Now, I'll use the example of the old dialer we used to use, Ready Mode. I keep calling it ZenCall. They rebranded to Ready Mode a year or two ago. Myself, my call center director, my developers, we must have spent 150 hours on the phone with them, right? We must have spent 200-300 hours configuring and setting up the call center. So you have to understand that there's a huge ramp up period of starting your own call center. It's not, hey, load it up, start it up, right? It's going to take months to even potentially a year to get it kind of where you want it, right? So that several hundred hours has to come from somewhere, right? And you have to pay your employees and whoever's going to really spearhead the project. So keep that in mind. It's not just, hey, let's start a call center. There's really a big time investment involved in it. So I'd say even after a year, we didn't even have it the way we wanted it. So keep that in mind. There's a tremendous amount of time. It's not going to be an overnight thing. So you're going to have to budget either the time or the money to accelerate it, guys. So keep that in mind. The Pareto principle, right? 20-80 rule. 20% of our time yields 80% of our results. So if you have the money, pay somebody to do it. If you don't have the money, you got to invest your own time, right? The reality is in solar, we're really blessed. We're talking $6,000, $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 commissions and beyond. So it doesn't take a lot of sales to be able to recoup that money. So when you think about it like that, if I could go sell a solar deal and make several $1,000s, or if I could spend time dicking around setting up a call center, what's a better use of my time? Go sell a few solar deals, then pay an expert to set up the call center. Or invest 300-400 hours of my time when I could have sold 50 solar deals and paid 10 guys to set up the call center several fold, right? So think about that, guys. Time is money. So focus on what's going to bring you the most money and then pay an expert to do the rest of it.
Awesome, bro. And I'm so glad you actually brought up the fact that if they're not using you, because I don't know any other, Vici so-called experts, I'm so glad you brought it up. Guys, Vici is not for amateurs. Like if you want to just have a call center experience and just have like a couple of guys on and stuff like that, like don't do Vici, okay? Do not do Vici. But Vici, like Jason says, is the Bugatti of the call centers. All the big boy call center guys, they all work with Vici. They have integrations with Vici, you know, and so and one of the things I think it's you can even notice it, like when I get a call on the when I get a call, like Vici makes this specific voice. It's like bloop, right, and you can notice that they're using it too. I don't know if it, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think only Vici does exactly that, right?
That's correct. So it's
Yeah.
interesting you should say that. We've hacked that out. So when we
No
call you,
way.
yeah, you don't hear it. Yeah. Yeah.
No way. Okay, so that's the amateur call centers.
Pretty much, yeah.
But bro, I also like have a lot of people asking me about beyond like building a call center, like
Right.
how do you hire people? Where do you even look for people? How do you manage people? How do you train people? Because you guys, you got to understand, call center is not being a tech nerd and just doing a point and click. That's not gonna fix it. Running a call center is a job in and of itself. And if you don't have the right SOPs, like Jason says, you're going to be left dead in the water. You might as well do something else. So Jason, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. And that's a great point, right? The software is just, 10, 20% of it. In order to have a successful call center, so many things, different things have to be in harmony, which is hiring. Right now, we've hired over 4,000 people, not only for our own call center, but for our clients' call center. So we've done it at scale. We've seen the good, bad, and the ugly. Now, unfortunately, with hiring, most of it's bad and it's ugly. So you really have to get burnt a lot of times really, really hard in order to say, you know what, I'm going to learn from these lessons and I'm going to hire the right candidates. Right. So the challenge with hiring call center agents is a lot of them are hand to mouth. And what I mean by that is they don't have a lot of money, right? So when people don't have a lot of money, unfortunately, they become desperate. Sometimes they steal from the company. Sometimes they have truancy issues. Sometimes they're dishonest, right? So we're not working, with the highest echelon of people. Nothing against call center reps, they're amazing. But the type of person that works in a call center, we're not talking about a sophisticated businessman, right? So we have to come down and we have to understand how to meet them where they're at, right? A lot of call centers are very passionate people, and we have to understand that. But the challenge with hiring call center reps is a lot of people will lie, right? So they'll lie about their experience. They'll lie. And it's not just about experience. This is a mistake we made for many years. We said when we hire people, we want 2 years of solar experience, right? And if I told you, Yvonne, hey, that actually sounds good. Let's hire agents with 2 years solar experience. That sounds great. But what does experience mean? That could be experience at sucking ass. That could be just experience at sucking. Who cares what experience you have? What's your proven track record of excellence in solar cold calling, solar lead conversion? And when we started changing our language and saying, what is your proven track record? What do you know? 90% of people who had that 2 year solar experience disappeared because they were lying to us. They were lying. So it was interesting. Once we changed our language in hiring, saying, what is your 2 year proven background track record? Then we started to get the higher quality candidates. So hiring in itself is an art, right? Hiring itself is an art. I fully believe that everyone needs to be sold on the opportunity. So what I mean by that is you have to have people believe in your vision. So part of the hiring process is to sell them on the opportunity. I firmly believe that you can have whatever you want in this world if you help enough other people get what they want. So you have to understand, guys, the people that you want to hire, 80, 90% of the time, they're working for somebody else. Wow, what a concept. You want to hire excellent people. You want to hire rock stars. You want to hire savages. You want to hire the Jordan Belforts of dialing. These people aren't sitting at home doing nothing, unemployed, right? They're working for other people. So how do you lure people from other people? You say, hey, Yvonne, you know, if you're working for another call center, you know, really appreciate you. I can see you're working for somebody else. Why are you here today? Right? What made you come check this out? And you're immediately going to start telling me, hey, I don't like the pay. My boss is a dick. I don't feel valued. You know, it's a combination of all these things. And then our recruiters are skilled. They hone in on that and say, here's why we're different. Here's our company values. Here's our corporate culture. Here's our pay structure, right? So you really guys need to sell people on the opportunity of working with you. Keep that in mind. Always sell people. So in terms of recruiting, you know, if again, guys, I'm going to give you tips to do this on your own, or you can obviously hire us to do it. But in terms of recruiting for us, we use what's called an ATS, and that stands for Applicant Tracking System. So we use that in conjunction with an HRIS, which stands for Human Resources Information System, which is basically a fancy word for CRM for human resources. You're tracking benefits, payroll, vacation time, disciplinary issues, all sorts of different things, right? An employee dossier, change of addresses, contracts. So everything's inside the HRIS. Now, a component of a good HRIS, and we use Bamboo HR, guys, for anyone here. If you have at least 20 employees, I'd recommend Bamboo HR. If not, just use spreadsheets. So we manage about 100 employees inside it. So we use an applicant tracking system. With an applicant tracking system, anyone who applies for the job, as soon as they apply, you know, it has all the fields, it has a form in it. As soon as they apply, they get an email, and then our HR managers get an email as well. There's a new applicant, and then you can rate the applicant with a star level, schedule interviews, calendar inside it. But not only that, it's got reporting in it. So you can see how many people made a first interview, how many people made it through the second interview. We actually do 3 interviews. So we have an HR assistant do the first interview. If they pass that, then we have our HR manager do an interview. If they pass that, we'll have one of our call center managers or HR director do the 3rd interview. So what happens when you put them, what happens when you put them through this vice grip is you find the most talented people. When you put them through that funnel, you find the most talented people. Here's the thing, Yvonne, we both know this as businessmen, people will make or break you, right? You hired the wrong people, you're going to spend ages, time, resources, money, worst part of all, your own energy with the wrong people, right? It's so important to get the right people the first time, because you'll be months in with them, God forbid, a year in with them, you're like, I don't like this person. So it's really important to make sure that you hire the right people. Did you know Elon Musk at SpaceX, every single employee that works there, he did the final interview with them?
No way.
He personally interviewed every single person that works at SpaceX. No, not the initial stuff, right? I mean, obviously, fluffers and you know what I mean. They had to pass a million tests, but he had the last interview.
Wow,
so if Elon Musk, the richest man on earth,
maybe for, even if it's just for C positions, like C-level positions, it's still like him doing the interviews, like that's big, you know.
If the second richest man, I think the guy that owns Louis Vuitton is the richest now, but if the second richest man on earth can interview all those people, I think you can interview your call center agent. So
for sure,
you really
but I think what it is, man, is just, I know you as a person, as an individual, and how you operate in business, and how organized you got, like your level of organization inside of, like, just not just building a call center, but your SOPs everywhere. It's just like, you are that guy. So I cannot recommend you enough when it comes to that. Like I can only, sit here and admire your ability to be able to put things in perspective, and just make it so simple with SOPs around it, and have people involved in those SOPs to make your life so much easier, and the business run smoother. So, bro, 100%, I agree with you. But it's just, I do believe that, it's easier said than done. And a lot of people struggle with that, A lot of people do struggle with that, and they need tools. They need the right SOPs. They need to know, hey, What do we do when we hire somebody? How do we actually hire that person? How, like, what questions do we ask on the interview so it's not like a wasted time on both ends, you know? And so I know you have something like a document that you've prepared where people are going to be able to download it. We're going to leave it as a link in the description down below where people are going to be able to download it, which I think you showed it to me before the call. I didn't know that you were going to give this away. And I was like, dude, like, it's so good. We should charge for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's $1 million at least in hiring costs and trial and error. So, the document, guys, is 8 pages long. It shows you what Facebook groups to hire in, the scripts that you're going to use to hire. It even shows you how to onboard them, what to say, all sorts of stuff, guys. Everything is in there. So if you guys want to take this and go start your own call center, even without us, go ahead and do it. You're going to be able to at least hire some really good candidates. Shows you pay structure, how it works, et cetera, et cetera.
That's
so it's
awesome.
right there, guys. I mean, hiring is also 20% of it, right? So we've covered a little bit about the dialer, a little bit about the hiring, but I can't stress enough, get the right people. Ask the tough questions. Most applicants will lie to you. They don't care, right? They do not care. So it's up to you to weed through that bullshit. Now, another thing is don't be too nice, okay? Obviously, keep it professional, be nice and respectful, but don't be too nice. Somebody has an absence the first week, fire them. Somebody has an absence the second week, fire them. If they're able to provide a doctor's note, so be it, okay? But no doctor's note, immediate termination. Because what happens, guys, is people rarely ever change, right? So 8 out of people, 9 out of 10 people, whatever they do in their first couple weeks, the first month or two, this is how they're going to act for perpetuity. Yes, there's outliers. Yes, there's honest people, whatever, but the majority of people aren't. So if you're seeing the signs, fire them immediately. If it doesn't feel right, trust your gut and fire them immediately. Don't say, oh, this person's nice, or oh, this person's actually really good, right? You have to set values and core principles of what you will tolerate and not tolerate. So when you set those, guys, never go against them, because if you go against them 9 times out of 10, you're going to get effed. You're going to get screwed. So really,
no, I've seen it firsthand, bro. Like, we've had people, like, we started with the same people, and those who were the best and executed the most and were the least, like, they had the least amount of complaints and just work through, shit. Like, that's how they remained all the way throughout. Yep. I had a guy who was an absolute legend who I found because of you, and the fact that you showed me. I'm a little jealous because you did charge me for this, and now you're giving it away for free. So I'm like, dude.
So you're part of that. You're part of that R&D cost.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I'm happy that my audience gets it for free. So that's awesome.
Does he still work with you?
To my point, like, he did. I literally just passed him over to one of our clients. So that was. But I still work with him closely. He recruits for us and stuff like that. So it's really good. Which is my next point. Like, these guys, just so you know, like, when you start to build call centers, your greatest people also know other great people.
Yep.
And so instead of, it's much easier to work with your employees to bring you other people and incentivize people to bring you other great people, other great candidates. It's much easier than working with a recruiter that does that for a living. Some 100%. Of the recruiters couldn't give a shit, So
yeah, no, you raised a valid point. Referrals are the best. Okay. Whether it's a business referral or an employee referral, if you trust an employee and you like them, value them, and respect them, and they say, hey, I got somebody good, well, frig, send them over, right? In business, right? We close referrals. I close referrals 70, 80, 90%, right? I mean, it's a shoe-in. So it's funny that you should mention that. Whenever we build a call center to about 20, 30 people, they almost always just run on referrals in perpetuity. So that's kind of about the critical mass where when you have that many people inside your call center, they just refer you new people, and then you have a never-ending stream. So the biggest one we built has 150 people. But typically the ones we build have like 5 to 10, sometimes 15 to start, sometimes a little more 20, but usually 5 to 10 is the sweet spot. But yeah, recruiting, I mean, I could talk all day, about it. All I can say is ask the tough questions. Okay, the document, for those of you that click our link below, the document will have all the questions, right? There's got some really hard-hitting questions. If they are good at solar and at solar cold calling and at solar lead conversion, they will know the answers to the questions. And just to touch on what you said, the killers, they come out the gate killing, right? It's not like, oh my God, like, and sometimes you see it, but we're talking about the majority of the time. It's not like, oh my God, this guy's okay, and he becomes excellent. Yeah, I've seen that, right? But the real killers, they come out the gate killing, and they will kill the whole way on. So then the key is identifying these people, and the only way that you can identify these people is either A, hire a recruiter, B, hire a company like us, or C, go through hundreds and thousands of people and know the signs, right? Even today, people slip through us. Even with our rigorous quality control process, people are good, right? They slip through us. But the odds of that happening are very slim due to our exposure, right? So just be very, very careful, because the right agents will make and break you. It was funny, when I built my first solar call center, I did it internally to sell appointments. I think I had like 20 or 25 people from the Philippines, and I was paying them $1.50 an hour, $2 an hour. This is going back 3 years ago. And in my head, I'm thinking, in my head, I'm thinking, I got an army here, like I'll spend more than that at the casino, like I have an army, I'm gonna kill it. I'm picking out what color of Lambo I need. Do I need two? I'm like, oh shit. So then I put them on. We start dialing. And then on a good day, they'd set 5 appointments. On a bad day, they set 0. And I had 20 bodies. And it said, hey, wait a second. What is the problem here? Right? Because so many people, I've seen so many people brag over the years, and I was guilty of it too. Hey, I can get this guy for like $3 an hour. Well, I'm sorry, but wherever this person lives, if they're any good, $3 an hour means nothing. Right? Our top reps get anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 US per month, right? In Mexico, you can live like a king on that. In like the Philippines, Egypt, Bangladesh, some hot spots for us. I mean, you can live like the ruler, right? So it's really important that you pay people very, very well, and then you're going to attract a higher quality of people. Because people in their head think, oh my God, like I could go to the dollar store and get some call center agents. It's going to be awesome, right? But they don't know that's going to cost you more long term. That's going to cost you more with lead burning, with the appointments that they do set. Their shit. Right? There's no intent. Yeah. So what if the lead answers 10 questions and you get their credit score and income? They're just being polite, right? You need somebody that can command themselves on the phone, build rapport, build value, build trust, build excitement, so they actually show up for the damn appointment. That is the most important thing. And that's where a lot of people miss the mark when they're recruiting. They're trying to save a buck, right? And the money that they save in the short term is causing them to lose a fortune in the long term due to lost opportunities, right?
No, I get that for sure. And we talked about recruiting. Like I said, we could sit here for 2 days and talk about recruiting because of how important it is. And that's what Jason was so nice to put this document together. I saw it. It's very comprehensive, and I mean, honestly, it's amazing. So go ahead and click the link down in the description below to download it. And then, yeah, dude, I mean, just an overview of like the process of what it looks like to build a call center. Like, can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So, I mean, you have several different things that all need to be in harmony, right? Where we're the leader in the marketplace and there's no company that does everything that we do. Not only do we build the call center, we do the recruiting, we program the integrations. It's very important to have the call center talking with your CRM, project management platform, visualization tools, reporting tools, whatever that looks like. And every company has a different software stack. So that's incredibly important. It's also important to have a lead source. And then it's really important to have ongoing training. Now, with the ongoing training, you have the initial training, but then the ongoing training and quality control, right? If you don't have quality control in your call center, what comes out of your call center is absolute shit. So having quality control in place, and we'll get into that a little bit after, having quality control in place is so crucial to setting quality appointments, because there's nothing worse, guys, than having a call center that's spitting out shit appointments. Believe me, we've created them, right? We didn't start as the best at building call centers. We started where everyone else started, at the beginning. And we learned, spent a lot of time, a lot of money learning, right? If you don't create good appointments, your sales reps will get pissed, and your sales reps will burn appointments, won't value the appointments, and then it'll actually poison your whole sales organization, right? They're like, oh, the new call center, new company call center shit, the call center leads suck. I've seen it a million times. So it's really, really key to set high quality appointments, okay? When we build a call center, there's about 130 different things that we do, main things, and then there's different sub things under those main things. So the first thing that we do is we build out the actual dialer. Again, you know, having built north of 100 of them, there's been a lot of trial and error to make it work properly. So like I said earlier, there's 3,000 different customizable settings in Dial. We know what the vast majority of them do. I don't even believe the owner at this point knows what everything does anymore. It's really such a comprehensive thing. And for those of you that know what Unix or Linux is, right, it's similar to that. It's an open source platform, like I mentioned earlier, that powers 30% of all contact centers on Earth. So it's very, very, very powerful. So we have all the different settings that we like to tweak. We use answering machine detection, right? For those of you that are dialing through a CRM, you're sitting there like a pleb. I call it dialing dumb. And you're listening to a ringing, right? It's ring, 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 ring. And then you get an answering machine. With the contact centers that we build, it uses AI and it listens. And if it's an answering machine, it doesn't route it to an agent, right? Guys, for those of you listening to this, never leave voicemails when calling leads. What a great way for them to know that you're coming from them and say, no, I'm not interested. Don't ever leave voicemails, guys. Never, ever, ever. You want to get them on the phone and you want to exert control over them. Okay. If I'm trying to reach Yvonne, I'm like, yo, Yvonne, it's Jason, man. Call me back, bro. I got some cool shit for you. Yvonne's going to be like, screw this guy, right? I get Yvonne on the phone and he says, oh, what do you want? I say, Yvonne, I want everything. What do you want? And then maybe he laughs, right? We diffuse the situation, then I get what I want. So never, ever leave voicemails, control them on the phone. Another tip, guys, unrelated. If you're texting somebody, always text them something fun. Never say, hey, I'm just following up, okay? Never say, I'm just following up. Never say, I wanted to circle back. I wanted to touch base. I wanted to reach back. Don't say these things. Everyone is saying them. 99% of these people are saying them. If I have Yvonne, and he's a hot lead, and I see him ghosting me, dodging me, I'll say, hey, Yvonne, what's going on? Can we still do this deal, or am I further away than Kanye in the White House? Does Trump have a better chance of getting indicted another time or get a deal? Will Biden fall down the stairs when he climbs up his airplane, or will I get this next deal? Use something poppy, funny, that they can relate. I guarantee you they're going to respond. They're going to laugh. Now, when they respond via text message, don't text them again. Call them. Because people can get rid of you via text message. People can ghost you. Now that you know that they have a pulse, call them. I'm telling you, deals are done on the phone. If you have a super, super, super hot lead, are you going to leave that up to text? Or are you going to have your way with them over the phone? So think about that, guys. Try to get things on the phone. Now, there's exceptions to every rule. Some people refuse to pick up the phone always, and you'll have to deal with text. But whenever somebody puts it in their hand, call them. So pivoting back, you know, with the call centers, we have answering machine detection, right? So the old way of dialing leads is to sit there, listen to the ringing, and if, you know, 50% of the time, 70% of the time, nobody ever picks up. So all your time's wasted. With a call center, what we do is we use predictive dialing. So if we know that 50 to 70% of all calls are going to end up with an answering machine, why not call 3 people at once, 5 people at once, have AI detect whether or not it's a real person, and then have that call transferred to a live agent. Some of our call centers, each agent is making the equivalent of 2,000 calls a day. Our call
Wow.
center is about 800. We've
Wow.
tested it. Yeah, my sales team, we've tested it. I'll have a guy dial 200 leads. Takes him 8 hours. In the call center, you could do that in an hour and a half, 2 hours max. We have to understand that our sales guys, we have to conserve their brain power so that they can use every last ounce of energy to close deals. We don't want them listening to ringing, answering machines, disconnected numbers. We want to use tools to do that programmatically and be able to connect to people. Now, if you're dialing 100 leads from one of our call centers, or if you're dialing 100 leads from your CRM, it's going to take you several fold more hours to dial from the CRM, right? It's about a 4-to-1 ratio. The biggest challenge of dialing 100 leads from the CRM is not only the time, but it's your phone number. If you dial for 1 month straight 100 leads a day, there's a 99% chance your phone number will be flagged as spam likely or scam likely or telemarketer.
Okay.
So basically, we've built phone number hygiene inside our call centers. So what happens is you have the three major carriers. You have AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. They use what's called call analytics engines, similar to how Google uses SEO, and they have all these different penalties and algorithms to decide how a website's ranked. The phone carriers employ these different methods to say, should this call even end up on our cell phone network? Should this call go straight to somebody's voicemail? Should this call be flagged as a scam likely or spam likely? So there's all these different things that it's looking at to determine whether that happens. Now, what's really interesting is you might have a phone call which shows up great on an iPhone, doesn't show any of these flags with AT&T, but on an Android, it shows up as scam likely. So what we're doing is we're checking Android and Apple on each of these 6 carriers, or on each of these 3 carriers. So 6 different checks, but then we're also checking Haya, the FTC's website, No More Robo, a few others. So we're checking like 10 databases, and it's really, really interesting. So what happens is we've built relationships with the call analytics engine carriers, the companies that AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile use. We have direct relationships with them. So instead of switching phone numbers, that's what most people do. First of all, 99% of people aren't using phone number hygiene. Let's face it. Nobody's using it. Right? So what we do is we remediate the phone numbers. We're checking all of our phone numbers daily with all of our customers. We're talking hundreds of thousands of phone numbers, but we're checking all of the phone numbers daily. And then anything that shows up as spam, we have a portal with the carriers. We go in and we paste all the phone numbers. We paste hundreds of phone numbers for each client, thousands for each client. We say, this isn't spam. And within 12 to 24 hours, 90% of those spam flags are removed.
Wow. Bro, before meeting you, I didn't even know what phone number hygiene was. Like, I was like, what the hell is that? But then it made sense, because I know that a lot of phone numbers, especially from telemarketers, like they get shown as spam likely, and of course, most people won't respond. Nobody in their right mind would. And so if you basically, what we're trying to say is that if you're gonna do this, make sure that you know what you're doing, because otherwise you could end up wasting a lot of time and a lot of resources and not even know like why the hell what you're doing is not working out.
Well, you have to understand, Yvonne, and you probably realize this, maybe more so the audience, and maybe a lot of you guys realize this. The average American receives 20 to 30 unsolicited phone calls per week, right?
It's true. That's true.
You have to, if you own a call center, you have to cut through all that fucking noise, right? I answer my phone. Oh, it's the IRS and you owe us 20 Bitcoin. Oh, it's this guy. And, it's just this colorful cast of characters that's calling you. Hey, can I sell you your auto insurance or home warranty, right? So you have to penetrate all this bullshit, because immediately the American consumer, when they receive an unsolicited phone call, what are they thinking psychologically? Scam, person trying
Scam.
to
Yep.
hurt me, bunch of bullshit. Who the F is this on the phone? Who the hell is this? What do they want? Scared, fear, et cetera, et cetera. You're already up against all of these things, right? So psychologically, you need to understand this and tip everything into your favor you can, because the 90% of the time they won't answer the scam likely, but if they do, they're going to be extra vigilant. They'll be like, what do you mean, solar? Well, no, that's a scam. No way. You know? Now, what's interesting too, I don't want to dwell on this too much longer, is having owned a call center for almost 10 years, having built call centers for almost 3 years, I've seen the landscape change dramatically. Not so much in the last 10, more so in the last 3. So whenever we bought phone numbers 3 years ago, about 20% of them would come flagged on certain carriers and on certain devices. So what happens when if I own 10 phone numbers or 20 phone numbers with Twilio and I release them back to Twilio, there's supposed to be a cooling off period of at least 90 days. Not only is there supposed to be a cooling off period, Twilio is supposed to remediate those phone numbers with all the different databases. Like they have their own relationships with these guys, like companies like Orion, before releasing the phone numbers back to the public. What happens today? 80% of all phone numbers that you buy will be flagged on one carrier at least in one device. Okay. I'd say about 20% of all phone numbers you buy today will be flagged on 2 carriers and at least 2 devices. And people don't realize this. People don't even know, right? So it's going to be this huge thing in the next few years when people are realizing this, right? So I don't want to go too much more into that, but
no, that was awesome, bro. I don't think that's knowledge that was previously, freely available to people. I think you gotta really like do your research to find this out, and you've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, guys, having a successful my pleasure. Having a successful call center, guys, it's the sum of a million small things, right? So, having the right talent, that might give you a 20-30% boost. Having the right contact center platform might give you an extra 10% boost. Having the clean phone numbers, an extra 10% boost. Having the proper quality control, right? It's all these things in harmony. And when you're doing it at scale, it's not that hard to put a little extra thing in and stack the deck even more in your favor. That's why we're the specialists, right? There's no other company, to my knowledge, that does everything we do under one roof. Sure, you can hire a company to run your dialer. Sure, you can hire a recruiter. Sure, you can hire, sales trainers, right? Sure, you can hire developers. Sure, you can hire quality control specialists, right? What we do is we systemize the whole process. So what I wanted to touch on earlier when you were saying SOPs, Yvonne, SOP is half the battle. Having a checks and balance is the other half the battle, right? So a lot of companies will spend all this time creating these marvelous documents. That's great. They become outdated quick. The employees don't follow them. And there's nobody checking at every single step, at every single level, and every single step that it was executed as per the document. So it's one thing to have SOPs, but it's another thing to have checks and balances, guys. So remember that you need to check everything. If I tell 10 of my employees right now to do 10 different things, and I love them dearly, probably only about 7 out of 10 of them will be done. The other 3 will be like, oh man, I forgot. Or the other 3 will be like, oh, we pushed them back a week or 2, right? So what do I do? If I tell 10 different employees to do 10 different things, I have my personal assistant make sure that they complete the tasks, right? So if you have a personal assistant and you tell somebody to do something, you better be using a project management platform or notes or some system to go and verify that the work that they did it, because there's a very high chance that they didn't do it or they did it poorly. And that's what a checks and balance is in a very basic format.
Right. No, I get that. Okay. Wow, that was a lot of value, dude. I mean, it's in not only that, like it's just I learned some stuff I didn't know before, I didn't know that, a number can be flagged on different devices differently, like or like I didn't know that, and I thought I knew quite a bit, than the average folk. So that's good. I mean, you're sharing a lot of information, and you're right. Having a call center is, to spit out leads. That's the, and leads being the lifeblood of any business. especially in solar, super crucial. But if you want to have a successful call center, it's the cumulative, steps that lead to having a successful call center. So, I cannot vouch more for that. So it's 100%. I'm with you on this. Is
I
there anything
think
else you want to share with people, Jason?
I'm thinking, Yvonne, I think we cap it off right here.
Cool.
And I'm thinking if we get enough love, we're gonna do a whole other session because I got a lot else to share. But I think we've pretty much reached our time for today. But I have a lot else I need to share. So if people see the value, write in the comments below, shoot some likes. We're going to put a form that you guys can fill out if you'd like to learn how we could build you a call center. Even if you don't want us to build you a call center, if you want the whole SOP on how you can at least recruit and get a portion of the battle done for your own call center, fill it out below, guys. And if we get enough love and likes in the comments, I think we're going to do a round 2. What do you think, Yvonne?
Absolutely, man. We're gonna do so. The round 2 is gonna be the nuts and bolts, like getting into what it looks like from the inside. So yeah, I mean, appreciate you for coming on, brother. It's always a pleasure. It was super informative, and I know people are gonna find it extremely valuable. It was valuable to me, and like I said, I mean, I thought I already knew quite a bit. So yeah, it is possible to build a great call center. Just don't do it with amateurs because, I mean, look, you get what you pay for at the end of the day. And if everyone's seeing the picture of like the two, like what was it, a horse? Like what is like, was it like, I got it done for cheaper or something like that.
Right.
And the horse it looks like a stick man, but
Stick
like,
figure.
what I'm so, I'm telling you, it's, if you're gonna build a call center, like, don't go the cheap route because whoever's watching, you've probably had experiences in the past where you got it done for cheaper and then you regretted that decision later on. I'm telling you, Jason is the man. So if you even have questions, like if you want to ask Jason, like how everything works and so on and so forth, we're going to leave 2 links down in the description below. One of them is going to be to fill out a form and contact Jason's team. And the other one will be to download the 8-page document that he's prepared for you.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video with Jason. If you did, give it a massive thumbs up and leave your thoughts in the comments down below if you have any questions regarding building a call center. The video was jam-packed with a ton of value, so once again, hopefully you took a lot of notes. So if you want Jason to build your very own solar call center, we're gonna leave a link down in the description below where you can reach Jason and his team. Also, make sure to download the 8-page document that he prepared for you because I'm telling you, that is something that most people would charge for, and he decided to give it away for free to you guys, to my audience. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.